What is up, guys? Welcome to Fast Break of Tundra Baller. I am your host, Mario Duenas, aka Tundra Baller. This is the first episode of the semester, and let's get things started. So today, since this is the first episode of the semester, we're going to be talking about a little bit about myself, what to expect from Fast Break of Tundra Baller, and then we're going to be talking about straight basketball here. So we're going to be starting off with all the trades that happened in the trade deadline since it happened last week. And then we're going to be talking about All-Star Weekend. Then we're going to be talking about one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now, the Los Angeles Clippers. They have been winning a lot of games lately after struggling at the start of the season, so I'm going to break that down for you. So my name is Mario Duenas, and I go by Tundra Baller online. I am 20 years old. I'm a sophomore at Cal State Fullerton here. This is my second semester here on Titan Radio, so pretty much this entire year I'm going to be here on Titan Radio telling you guys about basketball. And one huge fun fact about me is that I am a big Clipper fan. Probably the biggest Clipper fan that you will ever know. I know that you probably don't know a lot of Clipper fans, but now you know one, right? I'm a season ticket holder for the Clippers. So I pretty much go to mostly every game. So far this season, I came to every game. But last season was my first season as a season ticket holder, and I went to a lot of games. Probably only missed about 8, probably. So it was still a lot of them. Went to every playoff game, and yeah, it was really, really fun. So I'm in this section called the Swell. So you guys probably know the wall, right? It's this 51 row section. So it's pretty much made up of only Clipper fans. That's how the wall is supposed to be designed. But, I've noticed probably there's fans of other teams that get seats at the wall. But here's some rules when you're at the wall. You cannot cheer for the other team. You can only cheer for the Clippers. And you can't wear any other gear. So, let's say, for example, if you wear Laker stuff at the wall and you cheer for the Lakers or the opponents, they're going to kick you out. Or they're going to tell you, hey, stop it. And they'll give you this card pretty much saying that, oh, you're breaking the rules and this is a warning. The next time you'll get kicked out of the wall and you won't get any discounts. Because in order to be in the wall, you have to get this thing called Chuck Mark verification. So it pretty much gives you food discounts and other stuff. So pretty much, let's say, I don't know, a hot dog, but let's say it's $10. So now that you're Chuckmark verified, it would be $7. So most of the food items you get discounts just for being Chuckmark verified. But in this section, in the wall, there is this 13 row section. It's called the Swell. So right behind the basket of the opponent's bench side. So that's where the wall is. So pretty much at the right side, on the side of the opponent's bench, that's where the wall is. But right behind the basket, there's this 13 row section in the wall called the Swell. That's where I am in. So the Swell, they are the heartbeat of the wall. So pretty much their motto pretty much stand, chant, and cheer for the Clippers. That's pretty much our motto. So I'm in that section. So you've probably seen on TV when the Clippers are playing at home and there are people distracting the opponents when they're shooting free throws. That's me. That's the section that I'm in. So we pretty much are the craziest fans in the arena. And we always chant stuff. We trash talk to other players. And I was able to get some of the players' attention. There is this funny story where my dad and I, we were trash talking LeBron at warm-ups, and he gave my dad and I a weird look. It was really, really funny. And I was able to have Damian Lillard notice me, Dario Saric, if you know that guy, you have elite ball knowledge. But yeah, it is amazing. And we even got in Luca's head once. It was it's just really fun. It's just pretty much a community there, and you see pretty much mostly the same people every game. I've gotten to know some of the people, and I've also been making content about the Clippers on TikTok. So if you guys want to follow it, I pretty much vlog every game I go to and pretty much talk about anything Clipper related there. So it is Tundra underscore baller underscore zero, the number zero, not the word. And I pretty much vlogged every game that I go to. I did some interviews with our Clipper fans, but yeah, it is really exciting. So yeah, and if you guys are in the swell right now, listening to this right now, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys for coming on here, whether you're listening live or listening to this at a different time. But shout out to you guys. So besides besides me being at the swell, that's pretty much the biggest thing about me right now. So here at Cal State Fullerton, I came here because of communications. I'm a communications major, second year, and it's pretty much has a lot of cool things here, like, you know, obviously Italian radio, where you're listening to right now, and Italian TV, and there's the Italian Sports Network. They put their games on ESPN Plus. Hopefully, I could get involved with that because my dream is to be a journalist for the Clippers, where it's reporting or being media or anything along that. So yeah, like literally, like interviewing the players, like in the press room, or just covering games for them is pretty much the dream. Besides going to school and going to Clipper games, I pretty much just work out and play basketball and spend time with my friends and family. That's pretty much all I do, pretty much. And I also go to work also. So I'm a basketball coach and a referee. So yeah, it is really fun too. But yeah, let's keep going about the Clippers. The Clippers, they have been really, really good this season. So for the most part, after that 27 game start. But let's get started with All Star Weekend. So, as I said a bit earlier, I'm a member of the Swell and the Wall for the Clippers. So, for me and other Swell members, there was a contest. The winners would get invited to All Star Weekend. So, for the last 7 games at home before All Star Weekend, the top 300 Swell members would get invited. Originally, they had it where the top 100 would go on Sunday for the All Star game. The next 100 people would go to Saturday to watch the skill challenge or the shooting stars, the 3-point contest, the dunk contest, and the last 100 people would go on Friday to watch the Rising Stars games. So they changed it to all 300 people now to go all 3 days. I don't know why they changed it, but I think that's better, honestly, because if it's about 300 people in the swell, so the swell would be pretty empty. So I guess that makes sense. That's probably why. So to make it to the top 300, swell members had to complete missions at games, such as arriving early, being loud, and being at your seat at the start of the second half, and being at your seat at the end of the game. So I pulled up to all 7 of those games. The Clippers went 5-2 of those 7 games. And then last Monday, I was notified by email that I got invited to All Star Weekend. So it was really exciting. There was also a leaderboard that you were able to look at. It was only able to be seen throughout the first 5 games of those 7. So it would pretty much just show where you're at. So my dad and I, we were pretty much up there somewhere in the top 300. But after the 5 games, we were pretty much somewhere around 20 something and 30 something, if I'm remembering right. something like that. But after the first game, we started pretty much down there, maybe about the second, pretty much throughout the second 100 people. So we pretty much went up there. So pretty much if you went to all 7 games, then you would be up there in the leaderboard, no problem. But if you missed one or two, then it probably didn't matter anyways. You would still be in the top 300. So, but if I had to choose which day to go to, it would probably be Saturday to see the shooting stars, 3-point contest, and dunk contest, because you know how the All Star games the last few years has been. It hasn't been that good, but now that we're invited to all 3 days, I really hope that the All Star game this year would be really exciting, especially that they have 3 teams for Sunday, pretty much to make a competition. We'll talk about that later, but it looks like they're just trying to make adjustments, the NBA, so it could be exciting instead of just like I don't know, like a pickup game with no defense and pretty much just messing around and stuff and dunking and nobody guards anybody and they're pretty much just windmilling everything or shooting from I don't know a parking lot. But yeah, so they emailed me, like I said, by email, so I am going to the all 3 days of All Star Weekend. So you guys are going to hear this live on Saturday. I am recording this on Thursday, so I'm just going to be talking like today is Saturday. So last Thursday, there's a rehearsal for what the Swell would do for the next 3 days because they told us that the Swell would be playing a big role for all 3 days. So I don't know exactly what the big role is, but I'll talk about that next week. I'm going to be talking about pretty much all the whole experience at All Star Weekend and this rehearsal thing for whatever we're going to be doing for the next 3 days. So this is going to be exciting because our thing is to always stand, chant, and cheer from start to finish. So I'll tell you guys next week about all of this. So let's talk about everything for All Star Weekend, all right? So for Friday, we have the Celebrity Game, Rising Stars, and the NBA HBCU Classic. So the Celebrity Game and the NBA HBCU Classic is going to be played at the Forum, while the Rising Stars will be played at Intuit Dome. I don't know why there are 2 different venues, but I wish that the Celebrity Game was there too. But so the NBA and HBCU Classic is a Division I basketball game that will be played between Hampton University and North Carolina A&T. Not that Michael Jordan, North Carolina team, is a different school. So North Carolina A&T. UNC and North Carolina A&T are complete different schools. So this is a rivalry game in the Coastal Athletic Association or the CAA. So the Rising Stars, it features a mini tournament instead of one big game this time. So there are 4 teams. 3 of those teams consist of rookies and second-year guys, and there's 1 team that's full of G League players. So here are the teams. So the first team is the G League team that is coached by Austin Rivers, Clipper legend. So here is Austin Rivers' team for the G League guys. Sean East II from the Salt Lake City Stars, the Utah Jazz G League team. Ron Harper from the Maine Celtics, so the Celtics G League affiliate. David Jones Garcia from the Austin Spurs. He is injured, but he's not going to play. And that's the Spurs G League team. Yannick Cohen Niederhauser from the San Diego Clippers. He has been playing games in the NBA with the Los Angeles Clippers, but he also played games in the G League too. Next is Elijah Martin from Raptors 905. That is the Toronto Raptors G League team. Next are Trenton Newton from the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, the G League affiliate of the Houston Rockets. Yang Hansen from the Rip City Remix, that is a Portland Trailblazers G League team. And you guys probably know who this guy is, the sensation from high school with the high vertical, Mac McClung from the Chicago Bulls. So the next team is Team Mello. So this team is coached by Carmelo Anthony. So we have Cooper Flag. Unfortunately, he is hurt though, so he's not going to be playing. Reed Shepard from the Houston Rockets. Stephon Castle from the San Antonio Spurs. Dylan Harper, also from the San Antonio Spurs. Jeremiah Fears from the New Orleans Pelicans. Donovan Clingan from the Portland Trailblazers. And Colin Murray Boyles from the Toronto Raptors. The next team, Team T-Mac, coached by Tracy McGrady. Con Kneppel from the Charlotte Hornets. Kello Ware from the Miami Heat. Trey Johnson from the Washington Wizards. Alex Sarr from the Washington Wizards also. Unfortunately, he is not going to be playing too. It was revealed last Wednesday that he's not going to be playing because of a hamstring injury. AJ Mitchell from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Jalen Tyson from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Cam Spencer from the Memphis Grizzlies. The last team, Team Vince, coached by Vince Carter. VJ Edgecombe from the Philadelphia 76ers. Derek Queen from the New Orleans Pelicans. Keyshawn George from Washington Wizards. Modest Vuzelis from the Chicago Bulls. Igor Demin from the Brooklyn Nets. Cedric Howard from the Memphis Grizzlies. And Jalen Wells also from the Memphis Grizzlies. So with these four teams, it's going to be a mini tournament instead of one big game. So there's going to be two matchups in the semifinals. So it will be games of 40 points. So pretty much first of 40 points wins. And then the winners of those two games will play against each other for the championship. And it's going to be a game of first to 25 points wins the championship. So moving on next door on Friday is going to be the celebrity game. There's going to be a lot of known people. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch this game live, but I'll definitely watch some highlights later. So, there are two teams for this. So, the first team is coached by the Antetokounmpo brothers, Giannis, Alex, and Thanasis, and baseball player Mookie Betts. So, this is their team. Jenna Bandy, Shams Charania, the guy that took over Woj after he became Saint Bonaventure's GM. So, yeah, with the Shams bombs instead of Woj bombs, but Woj bombs are way better, honestly. But he is going to be playing a celebrity game. But next we have Taco Fall, NBA legend, the 7'6" giant, Rome Flynn, Keegan Michael Key, Jeremy Lin, Lynn Sanity, Rick Schnall, Dylan Wang, NFL player from the Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kafu, and Gorilla. So, the next team is coached by Anthony Anderson, lethal shooter, I understand it now, a NBA trainer, and another NBA trainer, Chris Brickley, the guys that does those runs in New York. So this is our team. Bodzda, Cody Jones from Dude Perfect, Andre DeGrasse, Matt Ishaba, Simu Liu, Mustard, Adrian Nunez, Taylor Frankie Paul, Jason Williams, White Chocolate, NBA legend. So Keenan Allen from next door at SoFi Stadium, Nicholas Vanstenbergy, and yeah, that's pretty much our team. So if I had to choose who's going to win this game, I would say the Antetokounmpo brothers and Mookie Betts because they have Shams Charania, Taco Fall, Jeremy Lin, Amon-Ra St. Brown. But let's see how this goes. But that's who I got winning this game. Now let's go to Saturday, starting with the shooting stars. So it is going to be a shooting competition instead of the skills challenge. So there are 4 teams of 3 guys with 2 NBA players and 1 NBA legend on each of them. So they're going to have 70 seconds to make as many shots as they can from 7 different spots. So they could pretty much shoot anywhere from those 7 spots. Pretty much the third of their shot, the more points they get. And the top 2 teams advance to the final, and then they compete to see who wins the whole competition. So there are 4 teams. The first one is Team All-Star, with current NBA players Scotty Barnes, Chet Holmgren, and NBA legend Richard Hamilton. The next one is Team Knicks, with the current players Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, with NBA legend Allen Houston. The next one is Team Cameron, with Jalen Johnson, Con Kneppel as the current players, and Clippers legend Corey Maggette as the legend. And then the last one is Team Harper, with current NBA players Dylan Harper and Ron Harper Jr., and the legend Ron Harper Sr. So the next competition after the shooting stars is a 3-point contest. So here is the lineup for the 3-point contest. Devin Booker, Con Kneppel, Damian Lillard. He hasn't played all year due to a torn Achilles that he got last year, but he is going to be participating in the 3-point contest this year. A very big surprise. Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Bobby Portis, and finally, Clippers legend Norman Powell. So if I had to choose someone to win, it would definitely be Norman Powell. And finally, the last competition on Saturday is going to be the dunk contest. So there are 4 people for the dunk contest this year. So it is Carter Bryant from the San Antonio Spurs, Jackson Hayes from the LA Lakers, Kashad Johnson from the Miami Heat, and Jace Richardson from the Orlando Magic. So Bryant and Richardson, they're both rookies. Bryant was drafted the 14th pick by the Spurs in the previous draft, and Richardson was the 25th overall pick. There's going to be 5 judges for the dunk contest, so it's going to be Dwight Howard, Dominique Wilkins, Nate Robinson, and Brent Berry. And for the last one, is going to be voted between Lethal Shooter, Drewski, or Tyler Toney, that guy from Dude Perfect, the athlete of our generation. So I like Lethal Shooter, but I hope it's Tyler Toney, honestly, because it would be really cool to see him in person. And I've always wanted to meet Dude Perfect. We're probably not going to meet him, but it's going to be really exciting to see Tyler Toney in person because Cody Jones from Dude Perfect, he's going to be playing at the Forum on Friday, and I wish I was able to see him play, but unfortunately, they're at the Forum instead of into a dome. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully, Tyler Toney is the last judge. And finally, the main event Sunday of All-Star Weekend is the All-Star Game. So there are 3 teams: USA Stars, USA Stripes, and Team World. So all 3 teams are going to play against each other, and after those games, the top 2 teams will play each other again for the championship. Each game is going to be 12 minutes long, so pretty much they're going to be playing a quarter of a full NBA game, pretty much. And whoever scores the most points at the end wins. So it's not any target score. And then the championship game is going to be the same thing. And so here are the teams. For USA Stars, we have Scotty Barnes from the Toronto Raptors, Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns, Cade Cunningham from the Detroit Pistons, Jalen Duren, also from the Detroit Pistons. Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Chet Holmgren from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tyrese Maxey from the Philadelphia 76ers. And Jalen Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks. So the USA Stars team, all of these guys, it is a team of young guys, the young All Stars. And the coach of this team is JB Bickerstaff, the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. For USA Stripes, this is pretty much veterans, veteran All Stars that were born in the US. So we have Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics, Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks, Kevin Durant for the Houston Rockets, LeBron James from the LA Lakers, Kawhi Leonard from the LA Clippers, Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavaliers, De'Aaron Fox from the San Antonio Spurs, and Stephen Curry from the Golden State Warriors. Unfortunately, Stephen Curry is injured and he will not play, so Brandon Ingram will replace him to play for USA Stripes. So the last team, Team World, we have Denny Avdia from the Portland Trailblazers, Luka Doncic from the LA Lakers, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Oklahoma City Thunder, Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray from the Denver Nuggets also, Pascal Siakam from the Indiana Pacers, Karl-Anthony Towns from the New York Knicks, Victor Wembanyama from the San Antonio Spurs, and Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks. Unfortunately, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Giannis Antetokounmpo will not play, so Alperen Sengun will replace Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the person that is replacing Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be De'Aaron Fox, and he's going to be playing in USA Stripes. I forgot to mention that Mitch Johnson is going to be the coach for the USA Stripes team. He is the coach for the San Antonio Spurs, and the Team World coach is the coach of the Toronto Raptors, Darko Rajakovic. My prediction is that Team USA Stripes is going to win the All-Star game because, me, I'm a big Clipper fan, but I think they have the most stacked team here. You have Jaylen Brown, Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson, and Kawhi Leonard, just all-time greats, and Donovan Mitchell too. Just unstoppable guys in the league right now. So that's pretty much it for All-Star Weekend. Now we're going to be moving on to the trade deadline, and we're going to be breaking down every trade that has happened. So we'll start off with the first one that started on January 9th, the Trae Young trade. So it was between the Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards. So the Washington Wizards got Trae Young for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. And so far, Trae Young hasn't played a game for the Wizards yet. He hasn't played yet due to a right MCL sprain and a right quad contusion. He hasn't played a game since December 27th. The next one is a 3-team trade from the Cavaliers, Chicago Bulls, and Sacramento Kings. So the Kings, they got DeAndre Hunter. The Bulls, they got Dario Saric and 2 second-round picks for 2027 and 2029. And the Cavaliers, they got Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder, and Emmanuel Miller. The next trade, the Hawks trade Vit Krejci to the Portland Trailblazers for Duke Reef and 2 second-round picks, one in 2027 and 2030. The next one, another three-team trade. Dario Saric gets traded again, and it is from the Pistons, Bulls, and Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves, they got cash considerations. The Bulls, they got Mike Conley and Jaden Ivey. And the Pistons, they get Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric, and a 2026 first-round protected swap from the Timberwolves. The next one is a big trade. The Grizzlies, they trade Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Utah Jazz, alongside with Jock Landale, John Conchar, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Grizzlies for 3 future first-round picks, Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, and Gorgeous Niang. Jaren Jackson Jr., though, he's recently now out for the season as he's going to have knee surgery after playing a few games for the Jazz. The next one is a smaller trade. The Hornets, they trade Tyus Jones and 2 future second-round picks to the Magic for cash. The next one is Ousmane Dieng to the Hornets with a second-round pick, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, they get Mason Plumlee, Clipper legend. The next one, you might have seen this guy from TikTok doing all those TikTok dances and singing videos. Jerry McCain. He was a player for the Philadelphia 76ers, and he got traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Philly, they get a first-round pick and 3 future second-rounders. And the next one, we really got to talk about this because this is Clipper related. So, the day before this trade, I was at a Clipper game. Clippers versus the Philadelphia 76ers. It was a home game. It was halftime. One of my friends, he sent me a post about James Harden being in trade talks with the Cleveland Cavaliers for Darius Garland. And I thought that this was fake because people mess with me all the time about the Clippers. And I fact checked it. It was real. And I told everybody in the swell about this. And they were like, man, no way. He's not getting traded. And I even told the leader of the wall. And he was like, where do you get this from? And I was like, oh, I got it from Underdog. And yeah. And they don't do fake news like that. And the next day goes along. And it happens. James Harden gets traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Darius Garland and a future second round pick. You know, this was kind of heartbreaking to me. I really thought James Harden was gonna retire a Clipper, but after I calmed down a little bit and I made a TikTok about it and it got like a few thousand views, and after I calmed down a little bit, you know, I kind of think it's a good thing. You know, everybody calls the Clippers at the start of the season the unction because everybody's old. Our average age was about 32, 33, but now we're younger. We have a young guard of Darius Garland. The next trade, Eric Gordon, also Clipper legend, from the Sixers, he got traded to the Memphis Grizzlies for a second round pick swap and draft rights to Justinian Jessup. Next is Hunter Tyson, member of the Nuggets, and a second round pick. They get traded to the Brooklyn Nets for a future second round pick. Next is Josh Minot from the Celtics, and he gets traded for cash. So pretty small trade here. And we have Xavier Tillman from the Celtics and cash to the Charlotte Hornets for a second round pick. The next one, we have Jock Landale again. So from the Jazz, he gets traded to the Hawks for Lonzo Ball and 2 future second round picks. But they waived Lonzo Ball, so he is a free agent right now. The next one, Chris Paul. Like, I know he parted ways with a team a while ago, months ago, but he has still been on the team, but not really. He's just always been on the injury report as Chris Paul, not with team. But he got traded, and he got traded to the Toronto Raptors. So they didn't really give up anything, the Clippers, besides Chris Paul. The Raptors, they just got Chris Paul, but he doesn't need to report for the team, so they're still determining his future. So he's on the Raptors, but not really. And they have, we'll see what they have to do with him. And the Nets, they get Ochai Agbaji and a second round pick. And the Clippers, they got draft rights to Vanya Marinkovic. The next one is Luke Kennard, also Clipper legend, but he was on the Hawks, and he got traded to the Lakers for Gabe Vincent and a second round pick. With the Golden State Warriors and Toronto Raptors, the Warriors, they got a second round pick for Trace Jackson Davis. Next is with the Bulls and the Knicks. The Knicks, they got Dalen Terry, and the Bulls get Gershon Yabusele and cash. And the next one, GTA Grand Theft Alvarado, Jose Alvarado from the Pelicans. He is traded to the Knicks for Dalen Terry, 2 second round picks, and cash. The next one is Mike Conley getting traded once again from the Bulls to the Hornets. The Hornets, they get Kobe White and Mike Conley. So Kobe White and LaMelo Ball and Mikal Bridges and Con Knuckle together now. And the Bulls, they get Ousmane Dieng. He gets traded once again. The third time he got traded. So he got traded 3 times in 24 hours. So besides Ousmane Dieng, Colin Sexton also goes to the Bulls, and they also get 3 future second round picks. 2 in 2031 and 1 in 2029. So the next one is another 3-team deal. It is between the Bucks, the Suns, and the Bulls. The Bulls, they get Nick Richards. Phoenix gets Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey, also Clipper legend. And the Bucks, they get Nigel Hayes Davis and Ousmane Dieng. Traded once again. He got traded 3 times in 24 hours. That is crazy work. Very crazy. Like, imagine, like, hey, you got traded this team, and then a little bit later, oh, you got traded again, then you get traded again. That is really crazy. I wonder what he was going through. Like, how it felt to get traded 3 times in 24 hours. Like, hey, now your home is this place, and then 24 hours later, okay, you're moving again, and then you're moving again. That is very crazy. But the next one is another big trade from the Bulls. So the Bulls, they're really busy at this trade deadline. So the Bulls, they traded Ayo Dosunmu and Julian Phillips. And the Bulls, they get Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, and 4 second round picks. 1 in 2026, 2027, 2031, and 2032. Here's another big trade. They go busy again. They traded away Nikola Vucevic and a second round pick for Bulls. And they get, in return, Anthony Simons and a second round pick. They're getting a lot of picks. And the next one is very heartbreaking too. I never expected this to happen, but this is another Clipper trade. So, I never thought this would happen. So here's the story. So I was working out on Thursday. It was Thursday morning, and I was taking a break because I was shooting around and I did some running too. And then I saw on my phone that somebody sent me a post from, I think it was ESPN, a friend of mine. And it was Ivica Zubac being traded. And I was very surprised. It was very heartbreaking. It was more heartbreaking than James Harden being traded. It felt like Blake Griffin being traded back in 2018. Like, the worst trade that I thought that would happen was Blake Griffin being traded, but there was this, Ivica Zubac, probably the second saddest trade that I ever had to go through. So, Ivica Zubac and Kobe Brown got traded to the Pacers for Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson. They have been playing good so far. When they played twice against the Houston Rockets. And they got 2 first round picks and a second round pick. So we got future draft picks. And one of those first round picks is for this year's draft. So we need the Pacers to do real bad So they have the highest chances of winning the lottery and getting a top pick. So we have two more trades to go through, all right? So let's get this down. So the Golden State Warriors, they traded away Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield to the Atlanta Hawks for Kristaps Porzingis, Tingus Pingus, that guy, the 7'3" sharpshooter. And then we have this one last trade. It is a big one, all right? So, Anthony Davis, Dallas Maverick, he got traded for Luka Doncic a year ago. The craziest NBA trade ever, thanks to Nico Harrison. But the Dallas Mavericks, a 3-team deal with the Washington Wizards and Charlotte Hornets. The Dallas Mavericks, they traded away Anthony Davis, Jalen Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum to the Washington Wizards. The Charlotte Hornets, they get Malachi Branham. And the Mavericks, they got a lot of picks and players. They got Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Tyus Jones, Marvin Bagley III, 2 first-round picks, and 3 future second-round picks. So the Dallas Mavericks, they are loaded with picks, just like the Bulls. So that's pretty much it for the deadline. And now we are going to our last thing, the LA Clippers. My talks about the Clippers. Oh man. So if you guys were following my talks about the Clippers last semester, you know that a lot of the games that we were talking about, it was bad. So the Clippers, the first 27 games, so they only won 6 of those first 27 games. And then the semester ended, and the Clippers, they started playing good when the semester ended. And after my previous episode of Fast Break at Tundra Baller. So coincidence, right? That the Clippers started playing good when I have not been covering the Clippers on Titan Radio. So on December 20th of 2025, before they play the Lakers in a pre-game press conference, Tyronn Lue said this: "Our main goal is to try to be 35-20 the rest of the way and just keep stacking wins from there." So this was when the Clippers were 6-21 going to this game. So let's say this: the Clippers, they finished the rest of their games 35-20. That would put the Clippers at 41-41. So they would be at 500 and most likely somewhere around the 7th to 10th seed and in the play-in tournament after the regular season. So from that point, after he said that, the Clippers won their next 7 games to double their win total to 12. And these were some big wins in those 6 games. There were wins against the Lakers, the Rockets, and the Pistons. So after he said that, also, the Clippers had played 27 games. And guess how many wins the Clippers have gotten in those 27 games? So so we have played 54 games now. We have won 6 games of those first 27 games. So the first half of those 54 games. The second half, we have won 20 of those games. So we went from being down 15 games below 500 to 2 games below 500. And now we are in the All-Star break. So we went from 6-21 to 26-28. There are some games that we probably should have won too in those games, but we had beaten ourselves, and yeah, it's just really crazy, guys. When the Clippers were 6-21, and I was covering every Clipper home game on my TikTok. Make sure you guys follow Tundra underscore baller underscore 0. It was just, I promised myself every Clipper game I go to, I'm gonna vlog every game, and and regardless of the result, I'm gonna post it. If we win by 50, I'm posting it. If we lose by 50, I'm posting it. So it's pretty much my content is pretty much just uh pretty much posting my experience as a season ticket holder of the Clippers, pretty much. And pretty much I'm also trying to put my name out there too. And if you guys are listening to and have told me at Intuit Dome or just told me like, oh hey, like I've seen you on TikTok, bro, like keep up the good work. Like I really appreciate that, guys. Like I have gotten that a lot throughout the season. So I appreciate all of you guys that have been telling me like, hey, good job on your content, you know. And I'm trying to grow also. So I started at about 60 followers at the beginning of the season, and now I'm at about very close to 300. I think about 296 at the time that I'm recording this. But this is really crazy. And we gotta give credit to this one guy, man. Kawhi Leonard, man. So in those second half of those 54 games, the last 27 games, Kawhi, he missed 3 of those games, but he has played 24 of those. And he is averaging 30 points a game in those last 27 games. Or pretty much 24 games because he sat out of 3 of those games because of an injury. But he is averaging very close to 28 points per game. He was originally not an all-star. But Adam Silver, he put him in, you know, assistant coaches, you know, they probably didn't vote him in because of the aspiration and circumventing the salary cap controversy. But long story short, in my opinion about this, it's been going on since September, and you know, pretty much, you know, the saying about crimes, you're innocent until proven guilty, and they haven't given him any sort of punishment yet. No fines, no suspensions. Everybody was telling me that Kawhi is going to get suspended. That's why. That's what people are telling me of why James Harden got traded, but that's not true, guys. You know, James Harden, he was looking out for the future, and it's okay that we made these trades. But we are now about 28 years old, guys. We are now a few years younger on average. So the Clippers, they gave away Visa Zubac and James Harden at the trade deadline. And in return, they got 2 first round picks, 2 second round picks, Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, and Darius Garland. Those guys are young. Darius Garland is 26 years old. Benedict Mathurin, 23 years old. Isaiah Jackson, 24 years old. Those guys, very young. And so the last 2 games, it was against the Houston Rockets. Isaiah Jackson, he only played in garbage time in the first game against the Rockets, and Benedict Mathurin, he's been playing rotational minutes off the bench for both games against the Rockets. You know, his shooting hasn't been as good as it should be, but he is a really good defender, and he was getting some clutch stops on defense in the last game. Kawhi Leonard, he had a game-winning shot. He finished the game with 27 points. Only had 8 points in the first 3 quarters and scored 19 in the last quarter. It's just insane. You know, I'm excited to see Darius Garland play because he's been injured with a toe injury, and we'll see how long it goes. But hopefully, he will be back by next week when the break is over from All-Star Weekend. So we'll see how this goes, guys. And throughout those 20 games that we won in the last 27 games, the average margin of victory was by 13 points. We had some big blowouts. just we had a huge blowout against the Kings, against the Nets. You know, I know they're the worst. Those two teams are the worst in the league right now, but that's how we should be beating teams. I honestly think that we could beat any team in the league right now. And a lot of these losses that we had, we are being ourselves. It's not because the other team is better than us. We are being ourselves. A lot of these losses is just it's just lack of lack of effort on defense or leaving guys wide open because throughout the first 27 games when we were 6-21, we were very good at leaving guys wide open, and we were not good at shooting threes. But we have been doing a lot better. We're playing a lot more as a team. Kawhi has just been one of the he is a top 5 player when healthy. Kawhi Leonard. Like I know a lot of players or a lot of fans doubt him because Kawhi doesn't want to play. Kawhi scored 50 points. Now he's staying out for the next 5 games because he's too tired. But Kawhi Leonard, man, he is unstoppable. The cyborg, he is unstoppable, man. But that is it for the first episode of Fast Break at Tundra Baller, guys. I'm going to be on every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So make sure you guys don't do anything from that time because you guys should be listening to Fast Break at Tundra Baller, the best Clipper podcast in the world. So I'll see you guys next week and have a good one, guys. See you guys next Saturday.